Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with my beautiful wife, Karina from Venezuela. And she has her green card. She went through the K1 visa process just like you guys. She went through the green card adjustment of status process. We went through that process just like you guys. And here we have this K1 visa channel where I give you free advice on these live streams. And I also have a members section. Okay, we have. If you want me to give you, if you want me to do the paperwork for you, if you want me to help you, give you one-on-one help, you can call me on my phone, text me, email me. I'll give you my contact information. You just gotta sign up as a member. And if you don't want to do that, well, then come on to this live stream where you don't have to. But if you want me to help you, like from A to Z, and I do everything for you basically, then just sign up as a member. And I do live streams for members only, and I do these live streams for you guys who are not members. You just subscribe. I've got the K1 Visa Green Card Super Lucky Pixie Dust for 2025 right here, and I've got the Mountain Dew. I just got some more Mountain Dew at Walmart for the Mountain Dew salutes. And also, I got a map of, look right here. Now, this is a map of the United States. Okay. Now, this is where you guys are going to be living when you get your once you get your K1 visa approved, you're coming to this country right here, the Constitutional Republic of the United States. Okay. And right down here, this is Alaska, but it's supposed to be up here. Okay. You got Hawaii, and then you got Florida, where we live in Florida, right in here. And then you got the Gulf of America right there. The Gulf of America. Now, if you want me to help you with your green card application, go ahead and start asking me questions, or your K1 visa application. The most important thing about this whole process is you got to qualify. Okay, you got to qualify. It's a benefit. Coming to the United States on a K1 visa is a benefit. Coming to the United States on a spousal visa is a benefit. It's not a right, okay? Just remember, you got to qualify for now the qualifications are pretty stringent, so not everybody can get a K1 visa approved. Number one, to apply for a K1 visa, you have to be a U.S. citizen, okay? You got to be a U.S. citizen. You cannot be, let's suppose you're a green card holder and you met somebody somewhere and you want to bring them over to America. You cannot file a K1 visa for that person if you're a green card holder. Okay, number one, you got to be a U.S. citizen or a naturalized American or a certificate of citizenship. Okay, if you are a naturalized American, that's fine. You still have an alien number, by the way. If you're a naturalized American, you still have an alien number. I'm not talking about that you're from the Zeta Reticuli and that you came down here on a spaceship. Well, maybe that would be a good adventure for you. On your naturalization certificate, you're going to find your alien number and the date that you were naturalized, where you were naturalized, and that information needs to go on the K1 visa paperwork. So when you fill out USCIS Form I-129F, okay, it's about 12, 13 pages long. If you're a naturalized American, you got to put on the paperwork your naturalization number, where you were born, where you were naturalized, and all that jazz. And it's not hard to do. Filling out K1 visa paperwork isn't difficult. You just got to make sure you got lots of evidence. Okay. Now, somebody asked me a question. They said they got married in 2024, back in the early 2024, and they asked if they could file a joint tax return. And I didn't catch it. I thought they said they were married in 2025. Well, I had to go back and correct myself, because if you were married in 2024, you can file a joint tax return when you do your taxes. Okay, if you got married in 2025, you cannot. All right, so if you got married between January 1st and today, you cannot file a joint tax return with your beneficiary. But if you got married in 2024, you can file a tax return, joint tax return. Life as a mom, first up to bat. Good evening, Diego and Karina. What is going on, life as a mom? Now, life as a mom, if I remember, I think you are in England, right? Are you in England, or maybe I'm confusing you with somebody? I don't know. I think we're in the United Kingdom. So if you were married in 2024, you can file a joint tax return. If you were married in 2025, you cannot file a joint tax return until next year. So if you got married, let's suppose you're in Massachusetts. That's right, Massachusetts. Massachusetts, are you snowed in up there? I mean, how's the weather? Hopefully you're not snowed in. Hopefully the interstates are open and you can get to Walmart if you need something. But Massachusetts, I think I've flown over it, but I've never actually been in the state. I've been to, there's 50 states in the United States. Okay, there's 50 states. Okay, I've been to 25. Now, Karina, she's been to Florida, obviously, Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana. So Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, so Karina's been to 4 states out of 50. Larry Piercy, welcome back. Wow, we didn't go anywhere. We're right here. Dwayne Bickelman, question on I-485, part 9, page 19, question 59. Total assets. What should I put? Well, let's look at it. You're in Boston. Life as a Mom is in Boston, Massachusetts. Let's see what we got here. We got a question on the 485. And it's an easy solution. It's an easy answer, but I'm going to look at it. It's on page 19, right? Well, that's right, of 19 to 24. So we're on page 19. Part 9. Okay, right here. Gotcha. Question 59. Identify the total value of your household assets. Okay. Well, what is the closest that they're asking you? What is the closest you are? So you're going to check the box where you're the closest. The value of your car, the value of your house, minus the mortgage. So if you got a $400,000 house and you got a $200,000 mortgage, and you put down $200,000, you got $200,000 in equity. So that would be $200,000. So they're asking you, how much is your stuff worth? How much is this computer worth? How much is this desk that Karina bought me? How much is all your stuff in your house worth? Your furniture, your car, your house. Do you have an autograph collection? Do you have a collection of hats? What's the value? You estimate the value of your total assets, including your house, because your house is an asset, and you put it and you check the box. So if you live in $1 million house, okay, and you paid $1 million for your $1 million house, you would check the box over $707,000 in assets. Okay, $0 to $18,400 for, if you don't have anything except the stuff you got: a chair, a living room suite, a TV, a camera, a cell phone. If you just got basics and you've got really not much of anything and no bank account, you put $0 to $18,400. But assets also include CDs, investments. Have you invested in anything? Your total is, what do you have? Okay, how much stuff do you have? Let me see here. Life as a Mom is in Boston. Larry Piercy, I thought you were out of town. No, right here, still in town. Let me see here. What do we do? I don't know what we've been. Karina's been working, and I've been basically putting a few videos together. And Larry says, anyway, still waiting. Give them a call for me. Oh, you're still waiting. You said off air. I'm on the air, Larry. What's wrong? Let me see here. Let's put some MAGA pixie dust all over Larry's green card application for Margie. Now, Margie's from Thailand. Okay? And Karina and Margie, they're like best friends now. Larry says no on the pixie dust. Listen, this stuff here made Peter Pan fly, right? Peter Pan learned how to fly with pixie dust. We're going to get Margie's green card in the air flying with the MAGA pixie dust. But we're on the channel. Dwayne Bickelman, did you understand the answer to the question that I gave you about page 19 of 24, USCIS form I-485? Did you understand? It's all the stuff that you own. Okay, itemize it. Let's suppose you're itemizing all your stuff to insure everything. Okay, that's how you do it. Larry Piercy, but I am a long way away from Peter Pan. Well, Larry, you know, this stuff right here has helped lots of people. Last 2024, it was a blue pixie dust, but 2025 is a good year for the United States of America, so it's mega pixie dust. Okay. Dwayne Bickelman, yeah, I'm trying to figure everything in total. I'm so thankful for you. Well, mega pixie dust for Dwayne. You can do this, okay? Don't overthink this. Don't make it so difficult that, you know, don't let immigration confuse you. Jump on the channel and I'll unconfuse you. And I'll give you the answer. Larry Piercy, dump the whole jar. I will pay. You will pay for what? This is good stuff right here. In 2026, I mean, look at all the stuff that the Department of Government Efficiency is uncovering. Now, everybody's panicking. We got a new president. Okay, Trump's the new president. Everybody's scared that he's going to start denying green cards and blocking K-1 visas and spousal visas. He's not going to do that. You go on these channels, you can watch. I mean, you don't have to just watch this channel. You can look at other immigration channels. The immigration attorneys that come on there and say, important news. Trump's going to start deporting people with green cards. I'm like, what the heck? Seriously? So I watch a minute or two of the propaganda, and this immigration attorney basically saying that if you are a criminal with a green card, you can be deported. And you can. That's the truth. If you break the law of the United States of America with a green card, as a green card holder, you can be kicked out of the country because we don't want you here. Okay? But if you are a law-abiding citizen with a green card and you go to work, you pay your taxes, you behave yourself, you become an American, okay? You don't keep thinking you got to go back to the country you came from because you missed somebody. You came to America to live and to be a part of this country and hopefully become a millionaire one day. You know, I want to see new beneficiaries come here and become millionaires. You know, you can do it. You just got to get off your butts and work hard and sweat. It's sweat equity is what it is. Arnold Schwarzenegger did it. Elon Musk did it. There's so many thousands of people who are Americans, who are naturalized Americans, who are millionaires, who came to this country with zero. Nothing. Just the clothes on their back. And that included Arnold Schwarzenegger and Elon Musk. You got a great opportunity once you get here to stay out of trouble. So if you have a green card, and then all of a sudden you see on the YouTube a big thing pops up, green card holders getting deported. Well, yeah, if you break the law, if you get a DUI, driving under the influence, and you hit somebody and hurt somebody, you can say goodbye to your freaking green card. Now, I'm not an immigration attorney, right? I don't give you legal advice here, and I don't work for USCIS, but I'm just telling you what's going to happen. Okay? Pixie Dirt, Larry, okay. Dwayne Bickelman, you are awesome. I'm feeling a little more relief. Yeah, Dwayne, just relax. When Karina, you know, remember, listen, the 485 is the beneficiary. Karina filled out the I-485. Okay, so what were Karina's assets? Well, we were married, so everything is us is all one. So when you fill this form out on page 19, and they ask you what is your assets, it's everything combined. Now, Karina, she has a house in Venezuela. She gave it to her mom. She said, "Hey, Mom, here are the keys to my house. I'm going to live in Colombia. I can't stand living under this communist crap." So she lived in Colombia for 6 years. She gave her house to her mom. When I helped Karina fill out her adjustment of status, did we include Karina's house in the assets? No, we didn't. It's irrelevant. It was not relevant. everything that we have here is what we counted. Okay, the house, the car, the bank, all that jazz. Okay, so how much is this Mountain Dew worth? What is that? $2 for a Mountain Dew, right? But you don't include food in your assets calculation. You calculate what's the value of your refrigerator? What's the value of your stuff in your kitchen? Do you have an expensive knife set? You know, some folks, they go out all out and they buy all kinds of expensive stuff for their kitchen. That's your assets. So, Dwayne Bickelman, we are glad you are feeling more relief. Don't sweat this. As long as you qualify for the benefit, right? You qualify. Your income is above the threshold that's expected. Now, next month is March of 2025. Today is January 19th, 2025. It's 6:15 p.m. Central Time. Next month, the CDC under Trump, if there's anybody still working at the CDC, maybe he just fired everybody and told them to go home. But if there's anybody left working at the CDC, they will calculate what the new income is for green card and K-1 visa applicants. To get a K-1 visa, you got to be at 100% of the minimum federal guidelines for the poverty level. 100% depending on the family size. Why is it 100% for the embassy interview, but it's 125% for the green card application? Well, the K-1 visa is a non-immigrant visa. It's a non-immigrant visa, and it's a temporary visa, and the requirement is 100%. Because, you know, who knows? You might not get married. You may not like it in America. You may want to go back home. So it's a temporary visa. It gets you into America. Then you have an I-94, which gives you 90 days to get married. The K-1 visa is irrelevant. Now you have an I-94, right? So it's 100%. But when you apply for a green card, you become an immigrant. Mr. Beneficiary, Ms. Beneficiary, you are applying for permanent residency. So then your sponsor's got to make 125% above to qualify. Okay? If the CDC is saying you got to make 25,500 and what is it? Let's look it up. Let's go over some numbers, okay? Because I want to make sure you guys understand how this process works in regards to dollars and cents. I just got to find here it is. So if you're a family of two and you don't live in Hawaii and you don't live in Alaska, you got to make $25,550 to qualify for the green card. But really, you got to make at least $5,000 or $6,000 above that. So immigration says you got to make $25,550 as for a family of two living in the 48 contiguous United States, not excluding Hawaii and Alaska. But really, what you need to be making is $31,000, $32,000, $33,000 a year for a family of two. Now you may pass, because for the embassy interview for a family of two right now, as of February 2025, you got to make $20,440 for a family of two. Okay, that's every state. Doesn't matter where you live. Okay, but then you got to apply for the freaking green card, right? So you make it through the K-1 visa interview, right? The scary visa interview at 20 grand a year. But then you're going to be looking for a joint sponsor. If you make between $25,000 and $28,000 a year, $28,000 to $29,000 to $30,000 a year, you need to get a joint sponsor before you file for your green card. A family of two living in the contiguous United States of America. If you live in Hawaii or Alaska, you got to make even more money, because those two states are very expensive to live in. Well, why is that? Why is Hawaii? Now, Hawaii's got pretty low property taxes. Their property taxes are pretty low. But why is it expensive to buy groceries in Hawaii? Well, they got to fly everything in. You know, if I was to do a Mountain Dew salute from Hawaii, this Mountain Dew would probably cost me $5, not $2. Why is that? Because I had to fly it. They got to fly it out there. They can't. And Alaska's the same way. Okay. So the secret the first qualification is income, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor. So pay attention. The income is critical. If you don't make $31,000 or $32,000 a year, family of two, get a joint sponsor. Okay? Now, what else do you have to do to qualify? You got to be a U.S. citizen, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor. You can't have any felony, you can't have a bad criminal record. I mean, okay, you got a couple of speeding tickets, whoop-de-doo, right? But you can't have a bad criminal record. You have to meet each other face-to-face and be in each other's company at least one time within the 2 years before you file for the K-1 visa. Okay? But what is immigration really telling you when they say you've only got to meet each other once? What they're really saying is you really need to meet each other twice, have been dating for a year, you have a year's worth of pictures together with family and friends, you got 1 year's worth of a relationship, you've been on 2 plane rides, and you're going to make another plane ride out to the country where she lives or he lives. So you want to have at least 3 trips. That's if you want to, not have to go through a long, scary, horrendous process with immigration and not get an RFE. So if you've only met each other once, but you spent 6 months together, that's okay. But if you've only met each other once and you only spent a week together, guess what? You need to get on a plane and go back and spend more time than that. So you get to know each other better. You just don't want to marry somebody right off the bat. You met somebody online, you fly to wherever, and then you come back to the United States and you file a K-1 visa application. Doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. Unless you're in a fraudulent, unless you do some fraud going on. Let's see here. Dwayne Bickelman, yeah, I'm trying to figure everything in total. I'm so thankful for you. You can do it. Let me see. Life as a mom. Send off my husband now. We are in the waiting process. Already received an email from FedEx. Said it reached him. Good job, Life as a mom. Good job. I'm glad you use FedEx. Don't use the postal service to mail your green card applications or your K-1 visa applications. Do not use the U.S. Postal Service. Okay? I ordered Karina a picture of a beautiful cat that looks just like Tokyo. Okay? A beautiful cat on Amazon. And the company that shipped it to the house used the freaking U.S. Postal Service. It took 6 weeks to get here. I'm tracking this thing and it says it's delayed in transit. Delayed in transit. Delayed in I'm like, dang, what the heck? Can you imagine if that, let's just supposing you live up in upstate New York or in Minnesota, or you live somewhere in the cold weather and it snowed and your roads are all snowed in. If you mail your green card application with the Postal Service, they're going to sit on it until they can get the roads cleared. It's an excuse, right? Oh, well, you're around the bad weather. If you use FedEx, UPS, DHL, your freaking green card package will get where it's supposed to go. It doesn't matter whether it's snowing or not. They will get it there. Okay? Do not mail your green card application or your K-1 visa application with the U.S. Postal Service. Okay? It's ran by the federal government, which is right now getting turned up on its hind legs and getting its backside spanked by Elon Musk and President Trump, because they are flushing out and uprooting all of the corruption and the fraud, waste, and abuse that our tax money goes. And I've been harping on how my tax money is abused over the last 2 years. For years, I've been saying how my tax money is being spent frivolously on BS. And Elon Musk is proving it. And then there's a few Democrats out there trying to stop Elon Musk from letting him look at the waste that the Democrat Party is spending our money on. So, a Mountain Dew salute to Elon Musk and President Trump for uncovering all of the fraud, waste, and abuse in with our tax money. And the federal government runs the freaking Postal Service. Don't put it there. Don't put your life of your future of your fiance in the hands of the freaking Postal Service. Don't do it. So Life as a Mom, good job using FedEx. Dwayne Bickelman, my wife filled out her paperwork except for those answers. Okay. My house is valued at 176K. Is what I see on my realtor. My mortgage is 121. Okay. So you take 176 minus 121. Okay. Go into Zillow.com or whatever. Go into Zillow.com, punch in your address. Okay. Punch it in, and it's going to call up the value of your house. Print it. Print that, and then do the math on that piece of paper, and write a letter to immigration and say, my house is valued at right here on Zillow.com. My mortgage is 121. So you take 176 and you minus 121. That's your liquid asset. That's your liquidity right there. Bethelman Gurma. Good evening, Diego and Karina. What's going on, Bethlehem? What's going on? What are you doing? How is your family? Mark Lennon, good evening, Diego and Karina. I've been trying to catch you on here. Life schedule hasn't matched up. That's okay. I have a concern filling out my I-134. It will not fit in one message, so I will put it in the next. So you're trying to fill out your declaration of financial support for the embassy interview, the I-134. Number one, make sure it is the current edition. Go into here. Okay, I'm going to type it right here. USCIS.gov/forms. Go in there and make sure you print the current edition of USCIS Form I-134. Let me see. Dwayne Bickelman, when the time comes, I'm from Pennsylvania. Where should I send the adjustment of status? Okay, now. You're going to promise me you're going to use FedEx, DHL, or UPS, right? Correct? That's what you're going to use, right? You promised me that first. And then I will type the address for you right here where you're going to mail it. So you said you live in Pennsylvania. This is where you're going to FedEx, UPS, or DHL your paperwork. Okay, I'm going to write the address right here. It's going to be the USCIS. This is if you live in Pennsylvania, okay? It's going to be attention. Attention, like you're in the military, right? Attention, AOS. What does the AOS stand for? Adjustment of status. You're going to send it to box 4109. Okay? This is if you live in Pennsylvania. Very important. Let me see here. 2500 Westfield Drive. Okay. Elgin, Illinois. And it's going to be, there's one L. Elgin, Illinois, 60124, 60124 backslash 7836. Now, if you live in Pennsylvania, that is where you're going to FedEx your green card application to. Okay? Now, let's see here. Mark Lennon, the other day I told you they revised the form 12. The old form had the beneficiary information first and the petition information second. They switched it. However, on the new form, Part 2, Line 1, petitioner's name. Line 2, any nicknames are aliens used by beneficiary. I believe that's a mistake. It should say petitioner. Well, you're not filling out this information on the I-134 is all about the sponsor. Okay? It's all about the sponsor. The I-134 is all about the sponsor. Let's see if I have that. I'll check it out. Let me see if I have that with me. If not, I'll just print another one for the next live stream. Because immigration, they love to switch stuff around. But I'm looking, so I don't have it right now. Oh, I do have it. The I-134. No, that's the 485 meal one. I'll look it up for you. But any questions about the beneficiary are basically irrelevant on the I-134 because the I-134 is all about the sponsor. They didn't make a mistake. You just don't have to put in it. You just don't have to put anything in there. You're saying on Part 2, Line 1, petitioner's name. Line 2, any nicknames are aliens used by the beneficiary. Well, it should say petitioner. That's not right. They're asking you, what is the petitioner's name? What they should have said was, and are any nicknames or aliases used by the petitioner. So, if you have a Facebook account with a different name that you use, you can put that in there as the sponsor, but it doesn't pertain to the beneficiary. Okay? So don't sweat it. You're good. They're not gonna ding you for that. But don't put anything in there. But part 2, line 1, petitioner's name, you got to put your name in there. And then if you don't have any nicknames, don't worry about it. But it should be petitioner. David Petch, hey Diego, last time we had talked, you told me I'll approximately June, July before my wife gets her green card, right? She had gotten an email stating to wait for an email for her green card interview. Okay. Well, now we're into February. That's pretty quick. But maybe now what you got to do is you have to wait for the green card interview. The green card interview, in my opinion, is probably going to be in the spring, in the early summer. So who knows? But hopefully you get it sooner rather than later. But as of right now, it takes 9.3 months to get a green card adjudicated and mailed to your house if you don't have to have another visa interview. Okay. So when I said June or July, I was absolutely correct on that. But if they're sending you emails for a green card interview, then you're probably going to see it in the late spring. Let's see what happens. Hopefully, let's put some MAGA pixie dust all over that. Make sure that you get it quicker. Mark Lennon, page 4, part 3, line 1, beneficiary's name, line to beneficiary, nicknames or aliases. I believe there's a typo. They're going to correct it, and this one will be outdated soon. Well, when do you have to submit the I-134? You got the I-134 is you got to fill out the I-134. You got to get it to your fiance in her country. The original signed by you, right, in black ink and dated. You cannot make a copy of the I-134. You cannot scan it and upload it in a JPEG file, whatever, and email it in an email. You have to get your beneficiary the original I-134 signed by you and dated by you, Mr. Sponsor. So if when is her visa interview? Have you scheduled the visa interview yet? Let me see. Dwayne, thank you so much. You're welcome. David Petch, things are looking up. It's only been 4.5 months. That's quick. Once we receive the date of the interview, how long will it take until she gets the green card? Probably about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. It's gone by quick for you. Okay, disregard my last question. Well, David, we're going to put MAGA pixie dust all over that because I think you're probably going to get this green card in about 6 months. But it all depends on when the interview is. When you know the date of your visa interview, then hopefully it's going to be quicker. It won't. Maybe it's going to be in, I don't know, April. It could be April or May for the visa interview. Then by June you'll get the green card, which will be about the time frame that I had told you already. And you said disregard my last question. You already answered it. Well, that's okay. There's no problem. I'll answer any questions you guys have. Okay. If you got questions, I'm here to answer them. That's why I'm here. And David, well, look at that super sticker from David Petch. Look at that. Well, David, you get the Mountain Dew. That's your 5th one. You get a Mountain Dew salute, David, for that fantastic super sticker. So basically what you did, because you reimbursed me for the Mountain Dew that I bought yesterday. So we appreciate you. And more MAGA pixie dust. I'm pretty sure that you're going to see it by June, at middle of May, okay? Which is about the time frame I told you. But it's unfortunate you have to go to a visa interview, okay? But here's the thing. If you get an email saying you got to go to a green card interview, don't panic. Don't have a heart attack. It's the process for green cards under Trump is going to change. Does it mean that Trump's going to block you from getting a green card? No, he's not going to do that. He just wants people, probably, I've got no doubt this is going to happen. More people are going to be told that they have to go for a green card interview. Probably the same thing's going to happen probably for us. Okay? We don't worry about it. When Karina applies for her 10-year green card next March, and Trump's the president of the United States, and we have probably going to have to go in front of an immigration officer for a green card interview for her 10-year. Okay, we'll do it. It's a vacation. You know, it's either going to be in Montgomery, Alabama, or it could be in New Orleans. But okay, so what? We'll go. It's more gas. It just means I got to put more freaking gas in the gas tank. Okay, but Karina gets a road trip, and we get to eat at Hardee's. Thank you, David, for that fantastic super sticker. There's a big 5 in there, and that's your 5th one. That's right. Listen up, guys. Don't try not to stress the process. Try not to panic if immigration sends you an RFE and asks for information. Don't have a heart attack. They're not, you know, even if you got an NOID, a notice of intent to deny. Let's suppose you got an RFE. Now, this is going to happen a lot under the Trump administration, I'm pretty sure. I'm just assuming, right? But I'm pretty accurate. If you get an RFE and immigration asks you for paperwork, let's say that you have to resubmit your 864, right? Affidavit of support. You messed it up. You screwed it up, Mr. American Citizen Sponsor. You can't read properly. You're in a big hurry. You just want to get the green card paperwork sent off. So you messed up the 864. Immigration gets it. They say, what the heck is this? They send it back to you in a request for further evidence. In other words, you got to redo the 864. And if you don't redo the 864 correctly a second time, you're going to get an NOID, notice of intent to deny your green card. So here's the secret. If you get an RFE and immigration asks you for a box of cornflakes, don't send them a box of Honey Nut Cheerios. Give them exactly what they asked for and put the cover letter on top exactly how they tell you. If you respond to an RFE correctly, your green card will get approved, assuming that the information you send is correct. Mark Lennon, yes, we should hopefully receive our NOA2 anytime. I will say by the first week of March. I was starting to prepare the I-134. It's too early, but I'm afraid if I prepare it, they're going to correct it and come out with a revised version. Mark, you are way too early to be filling out I-134s. You fill out the I-134 when you schedule the visa interview for your beneficiary. Then you get on an airplane and you fly to your beneficiary's country with the I-134, your tax returns, your tax transcripts, your W-2s, okay, new evidence, and you hang out with your beneficiary for a week while she goes to her visa interview, or 2 weeks. You really want to be in the country when she has her visa interview. You want to be with her. And then you want to accompany her back to the United States and bring her through the Border Patrol checkpoint. Both of you together. Okay? I went to Colombia in October of 2023 after I scheduled the visa interview in Bogota, Colombia for November 16th. Little did I know that Karina would have to get a freaking Interpol police certificate. So my 1 month vacation to Colombia with Karina turned into 3 months. You got to be ready for the unexpected. Okay? But I accompanied Karina through the Border Patrol checkpoint in Miami. We went there together. Okay? Very important that you try to do that. If you can't do that, then that's okay. But it's better if you can. Let me see here. Don't be filling out Mark Lennon. Do not fill out the I-134 until after you have scheduled the visa interview for your beneficiary. Then I'll help you fill it out if you want. I'll teach you how to do it. But it will change by then. Rohit, do you have to update Social Security again after getting a 10-year green card? No, you don't. Here's how the Social Security process works. You can either apply for it in person with your I-94 and your passport. Then you're going to get a Social Security card in the mail, okay, with the maiden name if it's a female. If your beneficiary is a female, she'll be with her maiden name, okay, but you have a Social Security number and you can put her on the bank, get a joint account. Then when you get the green card in the mail, or if you have to go to a green card interview, go ahead, go to a green card interview. But when you get the green card, then you go back to the Social Security office and update the status from I-94 status to legal permanent residence. And then you'll get a second a Social Security card mailed to your house. If you're a female, it will be in your husband's maiden name, in your husband's last name. So it will be, so Karina, when she got her first Social Security card, we went down to the Social Security office with her I-94, her passport. We applied for her Social Security card. We got it. It came in with her maiden name on it. When she got her, then we put her on the bank and the electric bill and this bill and that bill. We put all that stuff together for the green card application. Then when her green card came in, we went back to Social Security office and said, Karina said, here's my green card. Can you update my status to legal permanent resident? And they said, sure. They went in the computer, they updated her status to legal permanent resident. And then 8 days later, Karina got her brand new Social Security card in the mail. The number didn't change. The Social Security number doesn't change, but it went from Karina maiden name to Karina Ross. And all that verbiage from Homeland Security that says you have to work with permission of Homeland Security, all that went away. So Karina's Social Security card is just like mine, like an American's. You don't have to update your Social Security card again after you get a 10-year green card. But you do once you get U.S. citizenship. When you become a U.S. citizen, then you got to go back to the Social Security Administration and say, here's my naturalization papers, or here's my U.S. passport. I'm a U.S. citizen now. Then they'll go in there and change you to a U.S. citizen. That's very important that you do that. Rohit, can you work if I-751 is pending? No, you got to work when it's in your hand. That's why it's called a work permit. You cannot work while you're pending something. It's got to be in your hand. The green card or the work permit. How soon USCIS send a 48-month extension after filing I-751? A 48-month extension. You're talking about when you lift in the conditions, right? Here's Rohit. When you lift the conditions off of a 2-year green card to a 10-year green card, your 10-year green card gets an automatic extension. You're not going to get a letter. Immigration is not going to say it's automatic. When you file for the 751 is the document you use to lift the conditions off of a 2-year green card into a 10-year green card. You file the 751, you get notification from immigration that it's been filed. That's your receipt. And then you wait for the 10-year green card. Okay? Let's see here. It's not a 48-month extension. It's an extension until you get the 10-year green card. How soon does USCIS send you a 40-month extension? As soon as they open up the box and start processing your 751. As soon as they open up your 10-year green card paperwork and they send you a receipt of it, if you include Form G1145, you get a receipt number, an IOE number. That's when it's extended. Then you just wait for it. Rohit, the N400, that's the application for U.S. citizenship. David Petch, thanks for everything. Bring on the interview. We are ready. Cheers. Cheers to David. Don't have a panic attack if you have to have a green card interview. Just bring all your evidences with you. You've been married for 2 years now. Bring all that stuff with you. I'm going to take Karina on vacation next month. I'm taking her on vacation. Okay? When I come back, we'll have some videos to upload for you guys to watch. Okay? Rohit, N400 is the application for U.S. citizenship. Can you file after how much time from the 2-year green card? 1 year after the 2-year green card. It's 90 days or also different. Listen, you got your 2-year green card, right? You look at the issue date. You look at the issue date on the 2-year green card. 3 years from the issue date of the 2-year green card, minus you can file 90 days before that, is when you can apply for U.S. citizenship. So let's take Karina, for example. Karina's green card for 2 years was issued June of 2024. 2023. 2023. In 2024, she got it, right? So in June of 2024, she got her 2-year green card. 2 years from that date minus 90 days is going to be March of 2026, when she can apply for her 10-year green card. So next year, in March of next year, she's going to apply for her 10-year green card. A year from that date, in March of 2027, she can apply for U.S. citizenship. Whether she's got her 10-year green card back or not, it's irrelevant. Because the law says after you've been married to a U.S. citizen for 3 years, you can apply for U.S. citizenship. And the clock starts to tick from the issue date of the 2-year green card. So let's suppose you're still waiting for your 10-year green card. Waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And then you still haven't got it. Go ahead and apply for U.S. citizenship, but you have the receipt from immigration that says you applied for your 10-year green card. Keep the check. Make a copy of the check so immigration can see that you paid for it and that you've applied for it. So they can't say, well, you didn't lift the conditions off your 2-year green card. Well, yes, you did. You're just still waiting for immigration to do their part. And the immigration officer will say, very good. And then you file the N-400. You pay that. You can do it online if you want. You can file online for U.S. citizenship. It's all about time and numbers with immigration and paying them too. They like to get paid. Rohit, do you understand what I just said? You look at the 2-year green card. You look at the issue date. 3 years from the issue date, you can apply for U.S. citizenship. Whether you have your 10-year green card in your hand or not is irrelevant. You just got to prove that you applied for it, you paid for it, and you have a receipt that they acknowledge that they have it. But more than likely, you'll get the 10-year green card in about 6 months after you apply. Mark Lennon, I will accompany her through the whole process. However, I was just starting to collect all the documents and start filling the forms out, so I know what it asked for, so I didn't have to rush. Here's what you do, Mark. Go ahead and print the I-130 form and fill it out. But you're not going to use that form for the interview because it's going to be expired by then. But you can use it as a practice. You know, I probably filled out the I-129F for Karina's K-1 visa 6 times before I got it perfect. I filled it out on the computer, and then I found mistakes. You want to fill it out on the computer, then print it, and make sure you don't make any mistakes. Don't misspell your wife's or fiance's name. I mean, you got some folks from some countries, they have a name that's take Thailand, for example. There's some names in Thailand that are like this long. If you just transpose one letter backwards, an X and a Y, say, the whole package will be sent back to you because you messed up the name. Before you mail off the green card application, before you mail off the K-1 visa application, make sure you're using the correct edition of the form and make sure that it's not an expired form and that you haven't made any spelling mistakes. Okay? The passport number. Karina is from Venezuela. She has a Venezuelan passport. When I filled out the passport number, I went over it 10 times to make sure I didn't transpose because there were some zeros and ones in there. Like binary, I guess. Just pay attention to detail. Just pretend that you're filling out a form and that if you mess it up, then you're going to get fined $1 million. Don't mess up the paperwork. Chris and Emil, how to determine on status alone for work permit days of file, but green card is about how long is it? Okay, well, it takes about a month to get a work permit, and it's taken about 9 months to get 9.3 months to be exact to get the green card. How can you find that source of days will be approved? We are thinking about filing the work permit and the green card. Look, Chris and Emil, isn't your new wife from the Philippines? If she wants to work, okay, then file for the work permit with the green card paperwork. Right, you're from the Philippines. So I've got a pretty good memory. You're going to need to file the paperwork together, include the money, include the check for the work permit, include and the check for the green card application. It's $1,440 for the green card and the biometrics. I think it's $260 for the work permit. You can either write two separate checks or you can write one big check as long as you pay for it. And then you're going to make the check out to these people right here. U.S. Department of Homeland Security. That's who you make the check out to. Don't use your freaking credit card to pay for your green card. 751 is the form used to lift the conditions off the 2-year green card. USCIS form I-751 is about 7 or 8 pages long, and you fill it out as a couple to lift the conditions off the 2-year green card and apply for the 10-year green card. That's what the 751 is. You're talking about the work permit. Okay, the 757, I believe that. I'm trying to remember all these forms. The 765. The work permit is The work permit is I-765. That's the work permit. Okay, right here. 765 is the work permit. If you want to get to work, Miss Boston, if you're a foreign national in America, you got married to an American, and you want to start work within a month or two, you need to file for the work permit and the green card together. Okay? When immigration open up the packet, they're going to start working on the work permit first. And then the green card, they'll start working on the green card when you do your biometrics. Once you've done your biometrics, things will speed up a little quicker. Okay? Things get a little quicker once you do biometrics. Let me see here. I don't want to miss anybody's question. Dwayne, we got married and they have her last name and mine already. Good. But it still shows her on the Social Security card work authorization only. That's because you haven't got the green card yet or the work permit. Only if authorized by the Department of Homeland Security. Listen, Dwayne, once you get the green card, she's holding the green card. Go back to the Social Security office, present the green card with her passport, and then you will get a new Social Security card in the mail. And all that Homeland Security verbiage will be gone. Okay? You got it? Rohit, yes, thanks a lot. You both are the best. Well, that's a Mountain Dew salute for Rohit. We're here to help you. I've helped so many people, I lost count. I mean, I even helped one person get to the United States from one country to another country to America without a passport. Imagine that, right? Roy Flores, hello, Diego and Karina. My wife got her green card 2 months ago. So when should she start applying for the 10-year green card? Roy, listen up, pay attention. Roy Flores, pay attention. You must start collecting evidence for the 10-year green card today. When you go on a trip somewhere, keep the receipts from the trip. Even if it's a gas receipt and you filled up your tank of gas 4 or 5 times, keep all the receipts. Get pictures with family and friends. Keep collecting evidence for your 10-year green card. And the question you asked me is, when should she start applying for the 10-year green card? Look at the green card that she has, her 2-year green card. Take a look at it. When does it expire? What is the expiration date? 90 days before that green card expires, within 90 days before it expires, you must file USCIS form I-751 plus all of the supporting evidence of the next 2 years, and then pay the visa, the fee for the green card is $750 as of February 2025. You pay the green card fee. You include your marriage certificate, any divorce decrees, certified copies from the courthouse, pictures of your wedding, your passport biographic page, your wife's passport biographic page. You don't have to include the I-94 or the K-1 visa anymore. But what you have to include is evidence of commingling of funds and living together. And, you know, when Karina got her social security number, first thing we did was put her on the bank account. And then the bank statement came in the following month and she was a joint owner. That bank statement must go in your 10-year, in our 10-year green card application, because it shows when we opened up the account together. So it's going to show Karina as a joint holder of this account for the last 2 years. So they can see when her name started appearing on the bank statements, and they will see, you know, the last one before she applies for her 10-year green card. It's going to show 24 months, 23, 22 months of Karina being on the bank statements. You got to prove this is a long, continuous relationship. Include bills, the water bills, you know, that she's the electric bill, the trash bill, whatever you can get. When you file for a 10-year green card, you're going to do it just like you filed for the 2-year green card, but with 2 years worth of more stuff. But you don't have to get a medical exam for the 10-year green card. You don't have to do a medical exam. You have to do it for the 2-year green card, but you don't have to for the 10-year. Once you've done your medical exam for the 2-year green card within the United States of America, that medical exam is good for eternity. Okay? So, Roy Flores, there is a lot of stuff that you have to do when you lift the conditions off of a 2-year green card. You got to remember, guys, you are not going to renew a 2-year green card. There's no such thing as a renewal of a 2-year green card. It does not exist. The 2-year green card is good for 2 years, and then it goes away and becomes irrelevant. It becomes obsolete. You have to lift the conditions off of it. You've got to pull the ankle bracelet off of your wife or husband's ankle. The U.S. government right now has an ankle bracelet on his or her ankle, and they're tracking and watching everything you do for the next 24 months. Okay? If you get in trouble with the police, now I'm not saying you guys will, but if somebody who has a 2-year green card gets in serious trouble with the police, they're not going to get a 10-year green card. They're not going to get it. They're going to be on an airplane flying back home, wherever it is they came from. So stay out of trouble. Okay? Don't become a superhero. Let me see here. Chris and Emil, the Form 751 lifts the conditions off of a 2-year green card. It's the application for the 10-year green card. Let me see. Mark Lennon. Do I fill out a separate I-134 form for the 8-year-old daughter? Yes, you do. I know I fill out a separate I-864 when it's time for the green card. Mark Lennon, when you get to the point where you're scheduling a scary visa interview for your beneficiary in whatever country she's in, you're going to pay 2 visa fees, consular fees. Now remember, you're going to fill out 2 DS-160s, one for your fiance and one for your soon-to-be 8-year-old stepdaughter. So you're going to go. So you made it to you got the NOA-2 letter. The NVC received your stuff. They've mailed it off to the embassy. The embassy sent you an email saying they have your stuff and they're ready for you to start processing the visa interview. Okay, you're going to go in and you're going to schedule a visa interview for your wife, and your stepdaughter, who's 8 years old, will accompany your beneficiary, future wife, to the embassy interview. You don't have to schedule 2 visa interviews. You schedule 1 visa interview, but you have to submit 2 DS-160s, and you have to submit 2 consular payments of $160. How much is the consular fee? $165, I believe. So here's what happens. You schedule the visa interview for your beneficiary, your fiance. You fill out a DS-160. If she can't do it, you fill it out for her, and you submit the DS-160 for your beneficiary, the K-1. Then you pay the consular fee, $260 as of February 2025. Then you fill out a DS-160 for your 8-year-old stepdaughter and submit it to the embassy. Boom. And pay the consular fee, $260. That's twice. So now the embassy has 2 DS-160s on file for your case. They know that you have a 8-year-old on a K2 who's a derivative. So your beneficiary will bring her 8-year-old's daughter and your stepdaughter to be to the interview. They will then pass the interview because you're going to ready them for the interview. Then they're going to get issued a K1 visa and a K2 visa. Your beneficiary's K1 visa is good for 6 months from the date of the medical exam. So Karina had her medical exam in Bogota, Colombia in November of 2023. So her K1 visa was good for 6 months from November. So November to December, January, February, March. So in May of 2024 was when Karina's K1 visa would be terminated. Not the K1 visa, but the medical exam. Remember, you cannot enter the United States with an expired medical exam. People make this mistake all the freaking time. They look at their K1 visa application and it's good, but their medical exam expired a month ago. So they get to the United States and here's the medical exam and here's the K1 visa. The Border Patrol officer says, I can't let you in the country. And you say, why not? My K1 visa doesn't expire till 2 months from now. Well, your medical exam's expired. You cannot enter the country. Then guess what you're going to have to do? Go back to your home country, and then your sponsor has to reapply from the very beginning for your K1 visa. From the beginning. You're going to have to start all over again. Now let's take a look at the K2 visa. The K2 visa is for a derivative child, okay, 20 years or younger. If you're 21 and you have a son or daughter, you don't qualify for the K2 visa. You have to apply for a family member visa on a Form I-130. But you got the K2 visa. It's good for 12 months for the child. But we're working off of fiscal year, not calendar year. The U.S. government works off of a fiscal year. Okay? So you just got to pay attention. If you have a medical exam that's expired, but your K1 visa hasn't, you got to redo the medical exam. You have time. You can do it. You got to redo it. If you have a K2, you got to pay a separate visa fee, consular fee. The DS-160 is a free form, by the way. When you submit the DS-160 for your K1 applicant and the DS-160 for your K2 applicant, those forms are totally free. There's no charge. But you have to pay the consular fee for each person. Let's suppose you're bringing 4 people to America. 1 K1 and 3 K2s. You got to submit you got to fill out 4 I-134s. You got to submit 4 DS-160s. You got to pay 4 consular fees. If you're bringing 3 people to the United States, you got to fill out 3 I-134s, 3 DS-160s, and pay 3 consular fees. You got it? Chris and Emil, green card and a work permit. Yes. Chris and Emil, I-765 and what form work permit and green card? Chris and Emil, when you file for the green card, you got to fill out the 485. You got to repeat the medical exam, 693. You got to submit an 864 for each person. And a work permit. Abduli Jello. Hello, Diego. Greetings to you watching from the United Arab Emirates. Fantastic. How long will it take for the National Visa Center to review the K1 visa applicants? It all depends on when the USCIS Service Center mails the K1 visa, approved K1 visa, to the National Visa Center. National Visa Center gets it. Then what they do is they look at the workload at the embassy in the United Arab Emirates. It changes from month to month. Some months are not as busy as other months. Okay? So depending on how busy the embassy is in the United Arab Emirates will determine when the NVC mails the approved K1 visa package off to the embassy using a DHL courier package. It's all secure and everything using diplomatic pouch. It depends, Abduli, on how busy the embassy is. Ray Flores, thanks for the advice. I'll work on collecting the items. Keep on collecting the evidence now You should see Karina's evidence for her 10-year green card. It's in a book like this already. Karina's been in the United States over a year. Next year is going to be here before you can shake a stick. Then we're going to be putting her green card application in for her 10-year green card. And it'll be here before you know it. Okay? I would say once the NVC gets the paperwork, it will be about a month to 2 months before the United Arab Emirates will get it to start working on it. Dwayne Bickelman, my wife is pregnant. Well, congratulations. Will that affect the medical exam when she needs it for the 2-year green card? Yeah, she's going to say she's pregnant. Or she had a baby. Hopefully you want to get the baby born in America. So that way you don't have to go register the birth at the embassy. And it's just less paperwork. So your wife's pregnant. Will it affect the medical exam? Well, yeah, it will. The doctor's going to say she's pregnant. If she's still pregnant, when you apply for the 2-year green card, the 693, the civil surgeon will check the box that she's pregnant. It's all good. Don't panic. It's no big problem. Oba Yapa. Any advice on filing taxes as a newlywed? Thank you both. Here's the thing about filing taxes. If you got married in 2024, okay, you can file taxes as a joint couple. If you got married in 2025, let's suppose you got married yesterday. You cannot file a joint tax return until 2026. Okay? So Karina and I got married in January of 2024. But we couldn't file a joint tax return for my 2023 tax return. We couldn't because we got married in 2024. So the IRS said you can't file a joint tax return because for 2023 because you got married in 2024. I said, okay. But this year we're filing a joint tax return because we've been together in the house for a year together, married. But if we had got married, if you are a beneficiary and you get married this year in 2025, you cannot file a joint tax return until 2026. Okay. Does that answer your question on filing taxes? If you're a newlywed and you got married in 2024, okay, you can file a joint tax return. If you are a newlywed that got married in 2025, you cannot. Not this year. Mark Lennon, yes, but if they're going to interview together, I need to be 2 separate I-134s. That is 100% correct. Mark Lennon, if they interview together, do I need 2 separate I-134s? Yes, you do. And you got to sign both of them. And you got to fill them out. You're welcome, Mark. No problem. Chris and Emil, so they fired all these judges. Well, yeah, Trump fired all the judges that Biden hired. The installed President Biden, he hired all these judges, and then they attacked. Then they went after Trump. They tried to put him in jail because they were trying to stop him from becoming president. Because look what Trump's doing. He's uncovering all this corruption and all this abuse of taxpayer money. And they knew he was going to do that. So the first thing, now Trump says, okay, all you knuckleheads that tried to put me in jail, you're all fired. Go work somewhere else. Go get a job in the private sector. That's what Article 2 of the Constitution gives President Trump authority to do. Article 2 of the Constitution gives Trump the authority to hire and fire people in the federal government and to do what he's doing. And then you got a few of these left-wing commie judges who are trying to stop Trump from uncovering all this corruption. Why would they do that? Ask yourself, why would somebody try to stop Trump from looking into the files? You know, if you're a business owner, let's suppose you're the president of McDonald's, okay, and a couple of your McDonald's over here are missing money, missing funds. The president of McDonald's is going to want to investigate those 2 McDonald's to find out what the hell happened to their money at those stores, right? And what if a lawyer stepped in and said, or judge stepped in and said, no, you can't do that. You got to let those 2 stores over here continue doing what they're doing without an investigation. The president of McDonald's would laugh. There's no difference. When President Trump sees corruption in the U.S. government, as under Article 2 of the Constitution, he has the authority to go in there and look and see what it is. And the freaking judge cannot stop him. Okay? They're just putting road bumps in front of him right now because it's going to go to an appeal, and the appellate court's going to say, you can't do that. Let Trump do his job that he was hired to do by us. Dwayne Bickelman, you are such a big help. Well, that's why we're here, guys. Yapa, yes, thank you. No worries. Bethlehem Gurma, Diego, my husband added me almost 8 documents except the water bill. Okay. Is that okay? That's fine. If we applied for adjustment of status, that's okay. You can't get on everything. Some states won't let you do this. Some states won't let you do that. Some states let this and that and this and that. But you just got to prove that you are sharing responsibility of bills. You're living under the same roof, and you are sharing the assets. Everything I have is Karina's. Everything Karina has is mine. We share assets. We combine everything. Okay. Now I got probably no plans on flying to Venezuela to go check out Karina's house in the mountains. Okay. But maybe one day in the future, when there's a new government in Venezuela and it's a free country and there's no more communist dictators running around screaming, then we'll go on vacation to Venezuela. But not till Karina's a U.S. citizen. We're not going anywhere till she's a U.S. citizen outside of the United States. Yeah, go ahead, Bethlehem, and you're good. James Dean, I have read that you don't have to take another medical exam for the green card, but it sounded like you said we have to. Okay, let me tell you something. You have to repeat the medical exam in the United States of America and get a brand new 693 filled out and signed by a civil surgeon and recertify vaccinations for a 2-year green card. If you do not, you will get an RFE because immigration is going to be looking for the medical exam. So I don't know what you read. Maybe you were in Facebook. If you're in Facebook, get out of Facebook. Okay, Facebook is the land of drama and toxic waste. Get out of there. You have to repeat the medical exam for your 2-year green card in the United States. If we have to for adjustment of status, where do we find out where to get that done at? Well, what city do you live in? What city? Where do you live? Dwayne Beckelman, where would I go to take my wife to get her medical exam if I'm in Pennsylvania? Well, let's do it right here. This is easy to do. You all have internet, right? You all have internet. I can't see because there's no light on the phone. I gotta turn the light up on the phone. Goodness, she's got eyes like a cat. I mean, I can't see I gotta have my glasses. So let's suppose you're in Pennsylvania. So you go into Google, right? And you type in civil surgeon, green card, Pennsylvania. Well, Pennsylvania is a big place. Let's say Pittsburgh. If you live in Pittsburgh, right? I'm just guessing. And then here's a list of civil surgeons in Pittsburgh. Okay? Here's a list of them. You live in Lima, Ohio. Okay? So Lima, Ohio. So you go into Google or whatever. You type in civil surgeon, Lima, not Lima, Peru, right? Lima, Ohio, right? And here's a list of doctors in Lima, Ohio. Dr. Katapau. He's on 512 North Cable Road in Lima, Ohio. I mean, these are doctors that can, so you just gotta Google it. So do you understand what I'm saying? You live in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Okay, so Google civil surgeon, green card, Lebanon. I can't spell it. Did I spell that right? In Lebanon, PA. Or go into the USCIS website. Go into USCIS. You go into this USCIS civil surgeon. I can't spell. Civil surgeon. Locate. Karina learns English from me typing stuff here. USCIS. Go into Google. USCIS / civil surgeon locate. And then you can put in your state and your city where you live. And then you can find the civil surgeon. And then you call them up and ask them, and you do a price comparison. Hey, how much does it cost for a green card medical exam? I got to get a 693 signed, and I got to recertify the vaccinations. It's easy, right? You can do this. I can do it. We're in Florida. I went in there and I found a civil surgeon in Pensacola. So I called an administrative assistant, answered the phone. I said, hey, I need a green card medical exam for my wife from Venezuela. She said, okay, go ahead and email me her vaccination records. So I took a picture with my Canon M50 or my cell phone, I can't remember, and I sent them in a PDF file, and I sent them to the administrative assistant. She looked at it and said, okay, all of her vaccinations are up to date. We'll schedule a medical exam for you, 9:30 at the doctor's office. I said, okay. We went and got there 15 minutes early. We parked the car. We went in. Karina had her medical exam done. The civil surgeon signed the 693, recertified her vaccinations, put it into a white envelope and sealed it and put for Homeland Security eyes only, and said, here, and here's a second copy in case immigration loses the first copy. You got a backup copy. Karina said, thank you very much. And we put that into Karina's 2-year green card application. This was back over a year ago when you didn't have to do a medical exam. It was not mandatory. It's up to you. But I know this freaking process like the back of my hand. And I know that immigration will look for any reason to find a way to give you a hard time. So to make sure you don't get a hard time, just listen to what I tell you, follow my advice, and you will be fine. Okay? I'm here to help you guys, all right? Bethlehem Gomer, thank you so much. No problem. James Dean, can you tell us again what all forms we need to apply for adjustment of status? Sure. These are the mandatory forms, okay? These are the mandatory forms. The I-485, that's the adjustment of status. That's what the beneficiary fills out. But you help her. Then you're going to fill out I-864. That's the affidavit of support. That's what I filled out. That's to show that I can take care of Karina. The income is good, above 125% plus. Okay, and then you got to include a new medical exam, right? Which is I-693, plus the vaccination certification. Okay, new medical exam, I-693, plus the recertification of the vaccinations. What else do you need to put in a 2-year green card application? Mandatory I-94. The form I-94 shows that you had a face-to-face meeting with a Border Patrol officer when you entered America, and the Border Patrol gave you parole. The Border Patrol said you are welcome to America. I-94. Boom. It gets issued to you either in your passport. But everybody gets an I-94 in a computer generated, and you can go into the Border Patrol website and find your I-94. What else do you have to put in your 2-year green card application? What else? The biographic page, right? Of all passports. All passports. What do I mean by all passports? In color. So you got to make a copy in color, blown up nice and big, of my passport biographic page, and Karina's biographic page. What else? K1 visa, in color. All these documents have to be in color. All right? Boom. The K1 visa. Get the K1 visa in the passport. Go to Office Depot. Make a blown up copy of it in color. That goes into the application for the 2-year green card. What else? The marriage certificate. Right? The marriage certificate. The certified copy of the marriage certificate. Not a copy from Office Depot, a certified signed copy by the clerk of the court. What else goes into the 2-year green card application? What else? Divorce decrees, etc. Certified copies. If you've been divorced 3 times, you got to include 3 divorce decrees, certified by the clerk of the court. What else goes into a 2-year green card application? Photos of the wedding, honeymoon, right? Photos of the wedding, the honeymoon. What else? Copies of bank statements showing what? Joint ownership, right? At least 2. Copies of bank statements showing joint ownership. Plus, what else? Title of the car. Name, joint ownership, joint owner. I can't spell. Joint ownership of property. What do I mean by joint ownership of property? You got to get on the title to the car or the RV or the motorcycle. You got to get on the deed to the apartment. You got to get on the deed to the house or the lease agreement to the apartment. You got to show, and then you got to include pictures when you first started dating. I started dating Karina in Colombia in 2021. We had pictures going back 4 years. You're going to load up the 2-year green card application with so much stuff showing that you live together, you're sharing responsibilities together, you're joint ownership of pretty much everything. What else do you need in a 2-year green card application? Proof of what? Proof of what? Health insurance. Right? Proof of health insurance. Right? Karina's on my health insurance. And when I put her on my health insurance, I had the doctor print off a copy of the documents with her name on it, showing she's on my health insurance. That goes into the 2-year. Dwayne Beckelman, you're saying medical exam is mandatory for the 2-year green card. Yes, it is. Mandatory. As of December of 2024. What if she has kids? Well, then the children have to have a medical exam too. If you bring 2 children to the United States of America on a K2 visa, okay, you're gonna let's do it. Let's make a scenario of 3 people. You're going to have a medical exam for the beneficiary and both children. So you're going to have 3 separate medical exams. You're going to pay for 3 medical exams. Okay. Now, I mean, what forms do we need for them? For the medical exam is the I-693. I just put it in there. But the civil surgeon the administrative assistant at the doctor's office will fill out the I-693. You go in for the medical exam, and then the doctor signs it and then puts it in an envelope. Okay? What else do you need for a 2-year green card application? What else? Get on the trash bill. Get on the electric bill. Life insurance, health insurance. You put all these documents together, and by the time you get done, you should have a massive, fantastic portfolio of evidence. MB, hello Diego and Karina. Will my wife need another medical exam for the 10-year green card application? No, not required. Not required. Not required. Not required. Once you have the medical exam for the 2-year green card, you're done with medical exams. You don't need another one for the 10-year green card. You don't need another one for the U.S. citizenship application. You're done with it. It's good. You're done. You have the medical exam in the country where she lives or he lives for the embassy, and then you have a medical exam in the United States for the 2-year green card application, and then you're done. You're welcome, MB. James Dean, do I have to fill out an I-485 and H-64 for each child? Yes, you do. When you get to the United States, I'm gonna wrap it up here with James, okay? When you get to the United States of America, if you bring 3 people into this country, a K1 and 2 K2s, you're going to fill out a I-485 for each person, 1, 2, 3. You're going to fill out an 864 for each person, 1, 2, 3. You're going to get 3 medical exams done, 1, 2, 3. You're going to have 3 I-94s, 1, 2, 3. You're going to have 3 separate green card applications for each person. You're going to write a check separately for each green card application. So if you have a K1 and 2 K2s, you're going to write 3 checks, 1 for the K1, 1 for the first K2, and 1 for the second K2. So you're going to have 3 checks, 3 green card applications, 3 sets of files, and you put them all in the same FedEx box or UPS box, and make sure you fill out the check correctly for each person, U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and you are applying for 3 separate green cards. A lot of people fall into the mistake. They fall into this, they get this mentality, I got a 2-year-old on a K2, so when I file for my green card, my 2-year-old's going to get a green card automatically because of my application. It doesn't work that way. Don't fall into that mistake. If you bring a 2-year-old to America, Miss Beneficiary, Mr. Beneficiary, your sponsor is going to fill out a green card application for you with all the paperwork I just went over, and 1 for the child with all the paperwork I just went over. You're filing 2 separate green card applications for 2 separate people. And then you put them all in the same box. You bring all this stuff to the FedEx office and say, hey, I need to ship this to this address that Diego told me to ship it to. Then the lady will punch it in her computer, will weigh the stuff, and then give you, and then you're going to pay for the shipping. You don't have to overnight a green card application. Don't be spending $100 to overnight it. Just send it regular shipping, 5 days, 3 days, 4 days, because immigration is not going to get to it the day it arrives. So if you spend $100 to FedEx everything overnight, because you're in a big hurry to get this green card adjudicated, and I understand, but immigration is going to receive it. You spend $100 to overnight it, but they're not going to open it for maybe 2 weeks. It's going to sit on a shelf. So spend whatever it costs for a regular shipment to immigration. 5 days is sufficient. Pay the $35 instead of the $100, and then you can kick back and put your feet up and then say, thank you, Diego, for helping me. And with that said, I'm going to go and watch a movie with Karina. I've been talking for an hour and a half. Okay. Now remember, if you want me to do all this paperwork for you, personally, if you want me to go over this stuff with you one-on-one, but not so much in a live stream, but one-on-one, and if you want my phone number, and if you want my email address, then sign up as a member, and then I will give you my phone number and my email address, and then I will go over this stuff with you. You don't have to wait for a live stream. Send me a text or call me, and I will help you go through this personally, one-on-one, okay? But my time is limited, so I'm going to make it only for people that join as a member. And it's $9.99 a month as a member. If you don't want to sign up as a member, that's cool. You can just hang out with us on the live stream, okay? But as a member, I'll give you personal attention. and you don't have to wait for me to do a live stream. You send me a text, say, hey, Diego, I have an urgent question. Can you answer the question for me? And I will respond right away, because you'll have my cell number and you can text me the question. And I'm going to go ahead and we will see you at the next live stream. Thanks for hanging out with us, okay? We appreciate your time.